This video is to cover how to do hard lines. This right here is your flaring tool. This is just what I used. I had a lot of luck with it. I've used a few of them. Make sure if you do get one, make sure that you get one that is made for stainless steel, because if not, it will not work to flare out the ends. So the next thing you'll need is a pipe bender. This is one that I picked up, I think, from Harbor Freight or somewhere like that. It was very cheap. Then you've got your pipe cutter. This works great. And obviously you're going to need hard lines, which I picked mine up from a local fastener store. They had to order it, but you know, you can find a place that deals in bolts and nuts and just odd things. They can order this stuff from you. I'm pretty sure you can order it online too, but I like to put my hands on stuff before I order, or before I get a large amount of something. This is 3/8 line. You can use this cheaper bender. Seems to work fine. If you're going to use something for larger stuff like a 1/2 inch, this is a little bit more industrial. Works great. You can find different ones that bend different stuff. Anyway, all right. So first thing you want to do is find what you've got. You know, this is not rocket science, so you'll have to try a few different things and trial and error. So I would suggest buying some extra just in case you screw up, because I clearly have in the past. All right. So what I liked to do was to get my bends right first and then cut off any excess. So if this bend was correct, then, you know, and I had, you know, 2 different sizes and I wanted them both to connect right here, obviously you just mark right here and then cut it off. And now the way this works, it's very easy to use. You just put it in there and tighten it down, and then just keep twisting this and turning that, and eventually it will cut right through it. Now, you don't want to do it too fast, because you don't want to fray the ends and then accidentally cause some sort of a leak because it wasn't a good you know, a good clean cut. So, you know, take your time. This is a little bit time consuming, but it works. So now you've got a clean end. Alright, so after you've done your bending and everything, and I'm not going to bend anything here because you guys can bend it how in the designs and everything that you want. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen my other videos with my truck that has a lot of bent piping in it, and it turned out looking really good. Alright, so once you've got everything the way that you want it bent and it's measured and everything, you've got these little things right here. This is for 3/8. So you just slide it over. Now, I do not have the bolts that go to this, but when you pick these up, get the bolts that go with it. And if you get these, if you can take a closer look, if you get these, just ask them for the bolts that go over it. Anyway, so make sure that you slide these on first. If you do not, then you will not be able to use this pipe. You'll have to cut it off and start again. So slide this, well, actually you slide the bolt, then you slide this. Then you will want to take your flaring tool go down to, in this case is 3/8. You'll want to get it down to where it's sticking out just a little, not much, but just a little. And you'll want to get it just right. Alright. Now, if you can see down in there, it is still just barely peeking through. And the actual tool itself, the part that flares it out, is sticking in there just barely. So you want to tighten it down real tight. Then, as you're twisting this, you can actually watch in there and it flares it out. And this is going to take just a little bit of time, but just keep spinning it. Alright, so now if you look down in there, it has flared it out. I'll pull it out so you can see it. Alright, so now, as you can see, this is flared out. So now, when you go to slide this up and the bolt is behind it, it will screw right on there. Now, it is a good idea, and what I've done a little bit, is to take a little bit of sandpaper and just lightly go over it, so if there's any frayed ends, you know, it'll kind of soften that up a little bit. But just put it on there, tighten it down. It's really that simple. It's not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. I'd say the hardest part is figuring out the bends, because it is not just as simple as, oh, I'm going to bend this. Putting it in there, and yes, you can bend it after you've already flared it, but I like to wait to flare it until the end. So you put it in there. See, no kinks, no bent, no, you know, bent, clamped off parts. Now with your 1/2 inch line, it's a little bit different. It's bigger, it's harder to bend, and it can kink. So you just have to be real careful about it. But the bigger it is, the easier it is to kink, I guess. So just be real careful with that. If it does kink, start over. You do not want to kink the line. But that is it. Just put it on, tighten it down. That's pretty much it. Now you can, once it's in there, move it around a little bit. Like if it doesn't quite line up, I mean, you can move it a little bit, not a ton. You know, you can use your hands to kind of force it a little bit, but you do not want to bend it too much, because you will notice that it's wrong and it won't line up 100%. Hopefully that was helpful. Make sure you subscribe.